To make the base for our frog to sit on, we're gonna need our piece of paper ready, and if you would like to trace something, you can find something that's a little bit larger. We want it to be bigger than our frog, but not so big it goes off the paper. Or you can just freehand draw your circle, it's up to you. We're using oil pastels in class with paint and salt, but at home you could really use crayons, markers, anything you would like to create the same effect. So the first thing we're gonna do is take something to trace. If you're going to trace anything, place it right in the middle and lightly go around with your pencil. If it's not perfect, that's okay. Lily pads have a little bit of a bump and wave to them, so that would be normal. Now we want to find a spot that we're going to cut back a little piece. So just find one spot to start and create a little triangle shape inside, and then I'm going to erase the piece from the outside. From here, I'm going to use my oil pastels. If you're at home, you could use your crayons. They also have that waxy texture, especially if you're using watercolor paint for the background. You want something waxy to resist it, not markers. So that might be a good choice for you. To make our lily pad, I'm using a dark green, a light green. I'm gonna go back in with a little bit of brown for a shadow. You could add white for a highlight. And honestly, you could color this however you want. Lily pads also have little green veins that I might add. Sometimes they have a pretty flower that sits on the edge. You could try to draw one of those. It's up to you. If you're using oil pastels, these blend beautifully together. If you simply overlap them or color on top of each other, they will start to mix together and make a really pretty blend. You can also have the same effect if you use crayons or colored pencils. When you're done coloring in your lily pad, we're going to paint the background or color it blue if you are not using paint. If you are using paint, a really fun way to add some texture to your water is to sprinkle a little bit of salt on it while it's still wet. It gives it this really cool starburst effect, like there's little bubbles under there or the water is rippling. So we have a little bit of salt today and blue water. And the key is to make sure we just sprinkle a little bit of salt, but while the paint is still really wet. So I'm gonna do little sections at a time. And as you go right up to the oil pastel, you'll notice that it resists the paint, so you can paint right up to the edge. And then I'm gonna pinch a little bit of salt and sprinkle and do the rest. To attach our frog, we're going to be using the wet Elmer's glue, and we're going to put a large amount at the bottom, anywhere that his body or feet will be touching the lily pad. And we're just going to set it where we want it to be. And then we do need to give a little bit of time to set and become stuck to the paper. So we're trying to not move it after we lay it down.